data management and effort that's going on specifically in the soda project, actually. So, Sunil, you want to take over?
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry. Before we move on, shall we like first finish the voting for the first agenda item?
Actually, yeah.
Moni, could you help make a poll in the Zoom so that I think we have 3 TSC members at the meeting now, so we can vote, and then after that we can get the result from other TSC members. Because so far we only get 1 nomination from Fishery for DPAC, so DPAC is the only candidate.
What about Shani? You don't have any interest to continue?
It's already been 1 year, and honestly, it's a little difficult for me to operate effectively because now I don't have enough time, and also I don't have access to lots of the kind of the project planning stuff. So it's a little difficult for me to continue operate effectively. I think DPAC is a perfect candidate for the TSC chair. He spent lots of time and contributed a lot.
Yeah. Nothing. I was just curious.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But Shawning, I'm pretty sure you still gonna be there though, as a member.
Right.
You're still gonna come to the meetings.
Yeah, but I probably won't be able to come to all the meetings.
Okay. Sounds, yeah, it's understandable.
It's pretty busy. Pretty busy working here in Baghdad.
Yeah, you were one of the pioneers. It would be kind of great to have you.
We'll still keep your name. So whenever you have time, please join. If not, we understand.
Okay, thank you.
Shani, you're still a member, right?
Yeah.
I was still a member. Great. Well, Shani, thank you very much. Yeah, you are depending of this Centaurus.
Thank you.
So thank you for that. But you're still the member, so we'll still talk, even though you're not able to do every time. Yeah.
We just did the poll, right? If you to be a TSC chair.
100%. You should.
Yay! Congratulations, Deepak.
No, we're still not there yet. We don't have a quorum yet, though.
That's fine. I'm pretty sure you will. Do you want to give us?
We can send the email around. Yeah.
Right.
Do you want to give us a speech or something?
Yeah, sure. I'm glad to take. I mean, I know Shawning has done a great job in the last 1 year, and he's obviously, as I mentioned, he's the kind of he spearheaded the whole thing actually, so from ground up, and then doing the TSC membership. So it'll be great to have you. As even though I know you have a lot of commitment in your company, but it'll be great to have you as part of our meeting as a TSC member. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to hopefully we're doing a lot of work actually. So it's kind of change of direction. So the way Centaurus started out and now the direction we are going in, it's a lot of challenging work going forward. So I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Great. Thank you, Deepak.
Okay, are we?
Yes, thank you, Deepak. Okay, Stephanie.
Oh, great. Stephen just joined.
Stefan is there.
Now you have a quorum.
Yeah.
We'll do that again. Yeah.
Hey, Stefan.
Hey, Stephen, you just joined just in time. We are voting.
Can you hear us?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry about being late. I was caught up in another meeting. So let's vote.
No problem. You joined just in time. Moni, can you help launch the vote again?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
I wonder what happened to Click to Clock folks. Do they have any representation here today?
Prashant is a member, TSC member. So
yeah. I'm gonna text him and see if he can join. All right.
Okay. Good.
I'm sorry, I think I missed the vote somehow because I just got the results here and you did not answer this question.
We'll
Somehow.
do it again. We only need all the
I'm
guests
sorry.
to vote, so. 1 second.
Thanks.
I have to recreate the poll every time, so give me a minute.
No problem. We'll wait. Hey, Stefan, did you get a chance to vote this time?
Yes, now
Okay.
it worked.
Okay, that's all
Great.
done now. Yeah.
Now it's ineffective. Deepak, congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Deepak.
Hey, Stefan, by the way, we already done our speeches and everything. You came late. Yeah, because before you came, we thought we can do it via email because we didn't have the quorum. So Shouting did his speech and I did my speech too. So.
All right, I'm sorry for missing that.
There's a recording. You can.
Yeah, the recording.
Yes, I
Very
will listen to it.
inspiring. Okay. Both sides are very inspiring.
Okay, I think now we probably can move to the second agenda item. Hey, Sanya, are you still there?
Yes, yes.
Great, great. Thank you. So I think we can start the data management talk.
Okay, yeah, sure. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for this slot to speak. I'll just share my screen. You can see my desktop, right?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Thanks. So today we'll discuss mainly about the data management. Maybe the relation with Centaurus is maybe remote, but still I feel there may be some relationship. So in this session, I just try to see some of the current state of data management, the direction in which things are moving, and some of the industry trend, and then what we are thinking at Soda Foundation, a glimpse of it. I'll go through a little faster because I have around 30 slides. Some I'll skip, and if you have any questions or online or offline, you can discuss. Okay, so this is self-explanatory because everything is connected anywhere, edge, on-premise, and cloud, and things are connected. So things are connected and the technologies are data-driven. So data management is very critical. Basically what we need as a user, we want something like unified, global, because things are distributed, but still we need a global view of things, what is happening. Whether the deployment is in edge kind of scenario or in on-premise, nothing but on-premise or cloud. You want full control and management on your data. And as you know, in terms of storage, file, block, and different object or file formats or the storage formats is a legacy. So the dispute or the debate is still on that whether file is better, block is better, object is better, things like that. Though in the cloud native scenario object is predominantly taking over, or object and file combinations. But still, we need to live with this situation. And then there are influences and impact based on different platforms. Say, for example, OpenStack kind of platforms, or virtualization based platforms, or containerized based platforms, or mixed kind of things also affect how you manage your data, and different applications and use cases. So this is the current scenario in which the data management needs to be handled. So a lot of variables, and at the same time we have a high demand. So there are a lot of surveys recently happened. Even Soda did a data and storage survey last year, and also there are some industry reports. I pinned the links in the notes of the slides. So predominantly what you see is that though a major chunk of on-premise or enterprise kind of situation is still there, the growth, if you see, the container-based deployments or environments are going little faster, and the workload or the application deployments are increasingly moving towards VMs to containers. That is predominantly in our report, our survey also. This has come out very obviously, and similarly, the industry report also says that application deployments are moving towards container significantly. And out of this, the movement to or momentum towards container deployments, Kubernetes is one of the top candidates as an application orchestration platform. And today, I mean, most of the technologies, when it comes and we hype about a particular technology, most of the cases it will be notional in the initial phase. But today, container storage deployment is not really notional. It is real use case deployments are happening. Production kind of production grade deployments are happening based on container. So things are moving. I think earlier we started hearing about storage as a service when more and more cloud vendors came, or on-premise kind of private cloud and public cloud cases. Even the vendors came out with solutions like storage as a service, and it is moving towards container storage as a service. So the summary is that its container-centric storage solutions are more prominent, and hybrid cloud data management, especially for disaster recovery or data protection kind of scenario, is becoming hot, and well, demand is very high on that. And of course, momentum towards container storage, because the container application deployments are high, so hence the container storage. So most of the solutions, if you see, there are logical solutions to provide end-to-end management. So I have given some examples, and we will see some more details on the further slides. If you see, most of the storage vendors or platform vendors, they come up with logical solutions with their own components and open source components and third-party components, like NetApp Astra, VMware Tanzu, along with VMware Velero, Pure Storage Orchestrator, PSO, and many other products coming in this way, that end-to-end data management solutions. And earlier, most of the storage vendors were confined to the storage boxes, but not today. So they are all coming out of storage box. At the same time, they are increasing the capability of the storage boxes, but they come out with solutions on top of their storage boxes. And container deployment ready, cloud native ready, those kind of stuff, and multi-cloud, application aware. This is another key area where most of the people are working, application aware data management, because there are different use cases, big data or AI or different use cases. The data management needs to be more tuned to the application or the workload. And cross-vendor product ecosystem. This is one of the key areas. Most of the vendors, I mean, I think in the storage history itself, I think this momentum is for the first time that they are coming out to build a better ecosystem with partners and open source projects. This is not about storage, but on the container landscape. This I have taken from the CNCF project landscape. So if you see, the container landscape is growing exponentially. So time to time, the number of projects, number of new solutions or use cases coming is quite high. And when it comes to container data management, Okay, these are some terms I'll just skip because there are different terms we confuse with cloud native storage, container storage, and container storage interface CSI. So basically, cloud native storage is kind of software defined storage that API driven, mainly on API driven. Container storage is container centric storages, and container storage is type of cloud native storage, but not the other way. And CSI is just a specification. So this is one of the term we use. Understand it differently in many cases. So CSI is just a specification for storage interconnection with the container deployments across, not only for Kubernetes, but whichever is compliant, Mesos or Cloud Foundry. All these are compliant with CSI, where the storage connection interface specification. So based on the specifications, vendors will prepare the CSI plugins, which is the driver, which can be deployed to connect their vendor storage. So this is a high-level view of cloud native storage, like typical any other application, but the lower half is slightly different. So business applications, then application platforms, and then the container orchestration. That is where Kubernetes and all other projects will come into play. Then on container, and in container itself, in the runtime storage and the processor runtime and the network will come into play. So this is where we are interested in the container storage and the storage boxes connected through CSI, especially in the container part. Then of course on the left hand side and right hand side you can see automation, container registry, because this is the images are portable. So you have open registries and local registries for your images. For your Docker images and things like that, which is portable. And on the right hand side, security, compliance, and key management. These are some key areas even in the container data management or container deployment area, that security compliance is one of the areas where it needs more maturity. Okay, now comes to cloud native storages. These are some of the projects which is in CNCF landscape about cloud native storages. I just circled some of them just to show that some of these projects are part of Soda project as well, Zenko, OpenEBS, and LinStore. Yeah, incidentally, Soda is also part of this storage landscape. So now we'll quickly see the industry trend and the key platforms from different vendors. So I think you don't need to read this. It's just to depict that most of the vendors like NetApp, Pure Storage, HP, Dell EMC, Hitachi, VMware, Rancher, something like Rustic, it is an open source project, even MyData. So most of these vendors, so they are focusing on various use cases, predominantly on data protection. So it can be backup restore, replication failover, and those kind of things. So most of the solutions, they are coming up with that. And also most of them are something like a software as a service. And logically connecting, like I mentioned earlier, they build components from third party or their own components to build this kind of a solution, and focusing on even the container deployment part. And even in the container deployment, their first focus is on the provisioning and data protection.
So these are just go back. So the question, where did you get this list from? Because the reason I'm asking that question is because this whole data protection and disaster as a service and all that, the leader in the space is, companies like Rubrik and Cohesity and all those kind of things. Those guys, they don't show up in the list though.
Right. Okay, so this mainly I was trying to bring in the storage vendors, because there are a lot of software vendors, Rubrik, and there are other projects which are Cohesity. All these things are very prominent, but you don't expect a storage vendor to come to because traditionally storage vendors are more like closed. So if you see in this list, I think most of them are storage vendors, except maybe below 2-3 projects.
Okay, I think the whole data management term itself is confusing though, because so from your perspective, data management is, if you're a storage company, your data management, so that falls under data management. But there's another, so it looks like, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you wanted to say something?
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I think one of the key thing I wanted to kind of highlight that there was another, I'll post that article, a very nice article published recently on Newsstack. This whole data management kind of is evolving beyond kind of silos and all that. This whole data, especially companies like Rubrik and Cohesity and all that. People and all the companies are outsourcing their data. So they are essentially, like a holistic picture of the data management. So is that something are they part of Soda Foundation, or they're not? All these vendors, these are
they are not. They are not. Okay. They are not. So so data management probably it is very generic and
I know.
Probably at different level they see it different, but conceptually if you see, say for example, Rubrik or Cohesity or anything you talk on top, even the big data processing side, there are applications and platforms on top wherein they also do the same data management more from the application perspective. So even the metadata management and also the real data management in the data plane and the control plane part. Here we are more on one level down, that because most of these features traditionally were on application level, utilizing some of the features from the lower, maybe the storage or the infrastructure part. But right now what we are seeing is that even the storage vendor coming up and building solutions to make their solution, even the data protection or data governance, disaster recovery, those kind of stuff, more application aware from this layer itself, the platform layer itself.
Okay.
So, but if you see even whatever use case supporting by Cohesity or NetApp Astra, if you see the use cases, maybe 80% of them, the use cases may overlap, but maybe the implementations will be different.
No, of course they don't have their own storage system, so they are
exactly
on top of it. They manage the cloud, public cloud agnostic disaster recovery basically. So that's what they're claiming. So these
exactly right. Correct.
These companies are
so
really
most of those growing exponentially, I would say.
I don't. Okay, yeah, keep going.
Okay, so these are some of the views about. So like I mentioned, NetApp. So if you see Cohesity also, it is something like it will provide application aware public cloud data management across hybrid cloud kind of scenarios. So here if you see the NetApp Astra is a solution from the storage vendor, wherein they try to use their lower layer to connect their boxes through the container interfaces. Especially the plugin is called Trident, and then bring your own Kubernetes. You can have customized Kubernetes, whether it can be a vanilla Kubernetes or public cloud, maybe it is from AWS or GCP or enterprise private cloud or hybrid cloud, and then you put your application on top of it. So they are also trying to have, even the Astra service actually provides some kind of a management layer on top. So similarly, even PSO is trying HP. Some of the products which I mentioned in the earlier slide, they all have something similar. And the direction is in this line that they want to provide end-to-end application aware data management and data lifecycle management. So these are again some of the examples. Okay, so and at Soda, what we are thinking, I think one or two points I think even Deepak mentioned when you asked the question. So basically it's kind of a silos, like you have different platforms with different storages, and if you buy a storage will have its own management plane through which you need to connect the arrays to get the information or manage your, say, data protection will be supported in storage, outside storage, things like that. And there are different kind of be object or file or block, and some of the deployments will be in VM, some of the deployments may be in container, things like that. So it creates different technology stacks, and it's very hard to monitor and manage. So on top of that, you have public cloud, private cloud, edge, distributed data centers, and things like that. So you already have such kind of situations where the capacity, performance, the overall data management is becoming hard, and most of the cases you may have to get locked in with some of the vendor solutions, wherein you will have limited third-party storage support, and their solutions will be optimized for their storage and etc. So this is in a changing mode, that more and more third-party support is coming, more and more unified solutions are coming. That is where in Soda what we envision is that a unified data framework which support edge, core, and cloud, and also support heterogeneous storages behind, whether it is cloud or on-premise.
And it's cloud agnostic. So
Yeah, even if it
really
is,
yeah.
Yeah, it is actually platform agnostic, cloud agnostic, and storage agnostic. So that is where see, it is okay. I will say that it is kind of a dream, but we are moving in that direction to step by step, that how we can get there with an open solution. Today we have kind of good solutions on premise and cloud. Edge we have just started, and this year we are trying to focus on certain very specific things, because as a foundation it's just started in 2020. So whatever we can focus step by step, incrementally, along with the partners, we wanted to progress and build some solutions which can be really deployed in the production scenario. That's where we are moving. I'll just touch upon that in the subsequent slides. So overall, this is a view of Soda Open Data Framework. We call it as Open Data Framework. So we want to provide end-to-end, whether it is edge, core, or cloud, manage all the data in between, and any platform, any application, and any storage. And our key propositions are open source and connect data silos. I mean, we want to eliminate the data silos, like Tivok also mentioned this. And it is extensible. It is like the solutions or the modules can be plugged in. And we would like to move towards some kind of API standardization and build an ecosystem with hardware, software, and solution and service vendors. And also in future, we want to have some kind of certification based on this standardized ecosystem. So this is the overall stack you can see on the right hand side. This is we just show one of the use cases, a typical use cases, like a connected car platform, wherein you have edge, you have on-premise, you have cloud. Okay, so going forward, we are trying to consolidate some of our projects and landscape in Soda Foundation. So these are some of the key components of our landscape today. So you have an SDS controller. This is like, it comprises of 3 projects: API controller and dock where the storage can be connected. This is primarily on-premise. So irrespective of your storages file and block, this can provide you an unified API to connect with different storage. And you can use your provisioning, data management like a snapshot, file share, and etc. And now the container management is the new project. The green things are the incubator new project, which we are planning in 2022. One for container data management. Primarily, we will be focusing on backup and restore to start with, and then observability. Why observability? Because we already have a project called Delphin, which is for storage monitoring, which can support heterogeneous storage monitoring across different storage vendors and provide a single dashboard to provide all the infrastructure information like resources, performance, alerts. So this is one key project which people are also more interested, because this is one of the tough task. And also this is not in the critical path. Even for their current deployment, it is not in the critical path. On the monitoring side, they can actually deploy and get all the insights with a common dashboard. So this Delphin, we have already ported to, we have experimented with Kubernetes. It is on enterprise side currently, but we have tested in Kubernetes and it's working fine. So we wanted to migrate this as a native observability, storage observability framework for container environment, which is a key gap today, because in CSI, it is only providing the volume level metrics. So the storage specific information is missing. Still, people are using the vendor managed platforms. So this could be a good replacement. And then the multi-cloud data management, we have a project called Strato. So this is a multi-cloud wherein we support, I think, 6 or 7 cloud vendors. So the user can have a transparent API interface where you can have the object provisioning, data migration for on-premise or cloud. And we are also considering, we are working with one of the top partners of Soda, where they are very much interested in a data lake kind of project. They have very specific requirement on object management across their data center and the multiple cloud vendors. So this is one of the other projects we are actively discussing to be launched soon. So container data management and data lake will be our new additions to this year and focus. And you see a lot of blue boxes here. These are some of the echo project, Soda Echo project, wherein the external project join as a partnering project with Soda Landscape, wherein we try to work for collaborative solutions with those projects. Like LinStore is a block storage solution. Cube Edge is an edge kind of platform. It's originated by Huawei and it is a CNCF project. And Zenko is an object data store. And IG is a massive object storage. It's a optimized Ceph kind of solution. Cortex is from Seagate. And DAO is from Intel. It is an NVM object storage. And OpenEBS is a container attached storage from Data. And now it is DataCore. So we have incubator project, we have Echo project, and we have 2 main upcoming projects, mainly for data management, container data management and data lake. So these are some.
One quick question. The open data framework, ODF, we just mentioned, how does it fit into this landscape? Is it like everything together is ODF, or ODF is some SDK or something?
No. This open data framework is comprising of all these projects as a solution.
That all together is ODF.
All together, yes, that's right. So
ODF,
ODF comprises of the incubator project, Echo project, together and provide solutions. So it can be one solution or different solutions as a part of ODF.
Okay, get it.
So ODS is essentially a data management which is cloud agnostic and storage vendor agnostic.
Right. It is a logical solution. It's a logical solution. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean that's where I'm kind of concerned though, because this is the right thing to do. That's where data management should be. It should not be a storage vendor. So that's where the whole thing. The initially when these companies were coming up, people said, everybody is hosting their applications in Amazon, and Amazon is going to have their disaster recovery service too. So why would they go to Rubrik or Cohesity? But it doesn't work out that way. You see, so these guys are getting, they have $7 billion valuation. These guys. So industry has realized that that's not the way it's going to go. Basically, the data. This whole data management is going to be cloud agnostic companies like Rubrik.
Correct.
And that's what your vision is too. That's what exactly you said. Actually.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's where we are also heading to.
So is that part of the Soda Foundation? Do you guys reach out to those guys? Because those are the ideal vendors for you guys.
Yeah. So one thing is that we are going step by step. So one thing is that we first started with something like an end users, because we wanted to get some of the real use cases. So KPN, Vodafone, or that kind of an end users, Toyota, even Huawei. Huawei is kind of a vendor plus storage vendor. And then we also started last 2 years with the storage vendors. We did not get big success except Seagate and some companies, because as you know, storage organizations are generally not very open for this kind of solution. So we hope that we can get some of them onboarded. And then we also work with integrators, and probably these kind of projects also we will reach out to have them part of our ecosystem. So this is again whatever I explained, so I'll just skip this part. Okay, so on the container data management, I'll just brief some ideas on that. So what we plan to do is that we will be focusing more on Kubernetes kind of solution, wherein we have two major areas we are focusing. One is about the CSI part. The other one is on the data management extensions. So why CSI? Because CSI is the single interface which is provided in the container environment to connect to storages. And if you see today, every vendor will have their own CSI plugin, and the CSI plugin can support a series of models from the same vendor. And also there are some open source solutions which support multiple vendors. Our idea is that it is a heterogeneous CSI plugin wherein you can connect your vanilla CSI plugin to this, so that you don't need to manage multiple plugins that will be abstracted by the Soda CSI plugin to make it easy to manage, port it, because we want to support heterogeneous, and also whatever the metadata management of across the storage vendors can be very easy. So because the metadata can be managed by the Soda CSI itself, it's not across. So this is one area, comparatively smaller area on the data management in container space. The primary area is on the data management extension for data protection and observability. To start with, observability, like I mentioned, because we have Delphin project, it's easy for us because we have some experience already with heterogeneous storage monitoring. And data protection is primarily on
who initiated this project, the Delphin project? Who initiated that?
See, Delphi project from Soda, there were some discussions in the community, and at the same time, Huawei also was interested because we wanted some user.
Okay,
so Huawei told that, yeah, we are very much interested. So we are already integrated with the product on this project. And similarly, on the data protection also, we are getting some interest from the community like NTT, SoftBank, and different partners of Soda, wherein they are interested in the data protection aspect of it, whether in the container environment. So we thought this is predominantly going up. So this is one good area to start with. And basically, we are also in the process of getting the real users and the deployment, because that is very important for the success of the project. And earlier, we used to focus on multiple projects and across the stack. So we are trying to reduce that kind of a wider focus and go into a specific solution kind of focus, even with the Echo project solutions. So wherein we can give specific solution for a particular challenge. So for example, data backup and restore, or only just the storage monitoring across the storage vendors, unify your heterogeneous storages and things like that. So that is where we are heading to in the container space. So this year our plan is to have these 2-3 items completed and hopefully deployed in one or more users. This is the CSI part which I have already explained, and these are some of the current features at a POC level. I won't say that it is a GA or that kind of a quality, but there are some initial pre-releases on these features which is available in our Soda releases, which can be tried out. It can be trialed in Kubernetes environment. Even we have the Delphin, the monitoring, which is I have not mentioned. I think the heterogeneous storage monitoring can work with Kubernetes as it is. Delphin can be deployed in Kubernetes in that way in the latest release. And next, like I mentioned, we will be focusing on data protection, observability, and the CSI enhancement. Even the CSI community is working towards more features on the data protection, because CSI doesn't support many of the key data protection kind of features across the storage. So they're also working to improve the CSI spec. So we will be working with them as well. So this is about some demo link. And the another one is that the Soda Data Lake kind of project. So this is a very high level kind of a view about a typical data lake kind of solution, mainly on metadata management and kind of managing the data. So the current focus is to start with, because this is a big scope, very specific scope is that how we can manage object data across the cloud with the service provider data center along with the client, the customer data center. So there are some specific use cases we are getting from our end users, and we are trying to create that in 2022 to support that the workload, the customer data center application workload can seamlessly manage the object data management across multiple cloud with the access management provided by the service provider data centers. So this is one of the deployment use case today. So this is what we will start, and it will be S3 compliant. In multi-cloud, we already support S3 compliant on-premise and cloud. So we will be utilizing some of the components which we have developed for multi-cloud for this solution. So that's where we're heading to. And Edge, we talk. Sorry, yeah.
Hey, just quick question. That layer is open data framework.
Yes, it is.
Do you catch data? Or you don't catch data, right? Hopefully.
No, we don't catch data. Right now. Okay, so till now, most of the cases, our data management limited to control plane.
Mm-hmm.
But going forward, even right now, the object management which we are talking about is predominantly on the control plane. But the kind of requirements what we are getting, especially on the data lake side,
mm-hmm.
The request is that you also should help in the data plane. So probably we will move and support in the data plane area also, because data lake is more on that direction.
So do you manage the SODA manage the relationship between the data that from different cloud or from different cluster? So in the for example, in this case, you may have the data actually related in one cluster to another or to AWS. Do you manage that relationship, SODA?
Okay, so what we are right now doing is that, say for example, you have AWS and GCP.
Mm-hmm.
So suppose I am a user, I have some data in AWS. You want to move the data to, say, GCP, some data to GCP. So you want to do the data migration from one cloud to another, which we facilitate. We don't get into the data, but we can migrate the data. Mm-hmm. We can do lifecycle management. Say, for example, in AWS itself, not about multiple cloud, even one cloud itself, if you want to do lifecycle management from the standard, it has to go to Glacier or maybe archival kind of things. So this level at the moment we manage at this level. But as you know, S3, when you start working with the object S3 kind of case, you are not only in control plane. You can't say that you are purely on control plane. So going forward, probably the kind of requirements what we get, we may get into the data plane kind of processing as well. Mm-hmm. But at the moment, I would say that predominantly we work in control plane. We don't get into the data, but we are outside and manage the data.
So when you say data plane, so if I'm in AWS and I'm using S3 and I'm moving to Cloudflare, so you will convert my S3 to their R2 sort of storage solution or whatever. Similarly, if I move from AWS to Azure, you will, that's what you meant by data plane?
Right now, right. See, right now we don't do that. Right now we don't do that. If it is only compatible, we can migrate. Right now.
Yeah. But if tomorrow, you have S3 on both sides, then you do that. But if you're converting from S3 to R2 or whatever storage is,
that we don't do right now.
Sanya, what do you mean by compatible at this point? Like object storage from object storage to object storage, block to block.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
So because right now we support file, block, and object even in the multi-cloud. Suppose if AWS and GCP support file, block, file storage, and if it is same format, we can do. Especially in block case, the problem is made predominantly on the block case, because object is more or less S3 compatible, and the file is also kind of manageable. But in the case of block is where you will face problems because the formats are different.
Yeah. And also, how about the associated metadata, like the access control information, this kind of things?
Okay, so right now we have two levels of security. One is that because we sit, I'm not talking about the data lake, I'm talking about the multi-cloud. We actually use the backend security specific to the cloud. That's one thing. And our APIs are authentication based. Right now, we are using Keystone based authentication for the API level. And the cloud level security is purely based on the cloud. So we support some kind of ACL, SSE kind of support.
I mean, for the because you move data, but how about the metadata part, like this tags and ACL associated with this data blocks, will they also be kind of replicated to the new data storage?
It will be replicated.
Okay.
So if I have a Ceph on AWS and I'm moving to Microsoft Azure, Ceph, Ceph to Ceph, so that you do that, but you will move all other things, additional information along with that.
Yes, of course, yes. Because see, once you are on top of Soda, the metadata is belonging to Soda. You don't create outside.
Also,
because whatever you create,
I see. Okay.
Because you are doing from provisioning through Soda. Because it's about provisioning, data management, everything. So you have a single endpoint. So if you create something outside, you don't have an access.
So you become like a storage broker, basically. See, so if I'm creating a storage S3 and I go through your API behind the scene, you use S3 API to deploy that at the data plane level. But all the authentication and authorization and all those
will be taken care by us.
And then you will deploy that. You will map it to the AWS.
Exactly. Basically, right now, the flow is something like you start creating the backend. What backend you want, because we support many backends. So it can be AWS, Azure, GCP, and things like that. This is one way you register the backend. When you register the backend, you give the access keys and etc. Then once you register the backend, you can start from provisioning, the bucket creation, data upload, download, all the CRUD operations and data lifecycle management. Now we are also adding some more intelligence, that abstracting the backend also, something like, because this we got one of the partners, they had a requirement saying that they want storage service plans, in the sense they want to say to the customer saying that you are in gold plan or silver plan, but gold means in behind gold will support say AWS and Azure only in particular region, and then silver means it will only support say IBM or some other cloud. Now the user will see that, okay, my data is in gold or silver, something like that. So these kind of features, intelligence, we provide on top of these abstractions, which is easier because we are managing the backends.
It's funny, I think Dr. Sham just left and he put a question in chat. I think that definitely makes sense, because the work which you guys are doing, because we are working on this whole project called Sky Computing actually. So this has a lot of synergy actually. So potentially this can be ODF, can be integrated with Centaurus actually, and this will add a lot of value to you guys and to us, to Centaurus as well actually.
That will be fantastic, because we always explore the possibilities of creating some combined solution. That's where we have the Echo project as well.
So what you guys are doing is you are basically acting as a storage broker basically.
Right.
And then as Sky, what is Sky Computing or Intercloud? Intercloud is that basically. Intercloud is storage broker. So the broker will manage the storage, compute, and network basically. So I think this could be a very good thing to integrate that. So that's something we should talk more actually in the next meeting. Also, we should brainstorm. This is very good. I think.
Right. Sure. We'll do that. Okay, I think this is my last two slides. Okay, so Soda Edge we have been talking about, and last year we did some trial with Cube Edge. It was a kind of, in line with our thought process, because we support CSI and Cube Edge is Kubernetes native edge platform. So we could deploy Soda CSI with Cube Edge, and maybe this year we will work more closely with them to try to have some kind of solutions if possible on edge. But this is not a real focus on 2022. As Cube Edge is an Echo project in Soda Foundation, probably they may be contributing. Yeah, so going forward, we see that mutually complementing solutions, it's a logical solutions are going to be predominant going forward, and partner ecosystem will be prominent. So we think that a unified open source solution has its own place, especially in the container ecosystem, because container, if you see, most of the projects are coming from the open landscape, especially at the platform level. Application level, there can be proprietary solutions, but at platform level, more or less it is open source. And then container storage as a service and cross cluster. This is one of the pain points in Kubernetes as well. The what is that? The cross cluster, multi cluster kind of scenario.
Regional cloud,
regional cloud and kind of stuff. So cross cloud. So cross domain. So cross cluster, cross cloud, cross domain can be significant areas of work.
That's exactly the use case we want to explore that actually as part of Centaurus. Actually, that's the project we work. Yeah.
I hope you have seen Karmada also, right, from Huawei.
Karmada, I know Karmada. Yeah.
I think Kevin is also Kevin is also discussing with us that they are interested in the storage piece, whether we can support.
This is exactly the same thing what Kevin is trying to do for Karmada. So we have a federation layer which is much more expensive than Karmada actually. This is exactly what we're saying. We're saying we're going to take your storage broker ODF, which you call ODF, and then integrate that with our federation layer, which is much beyond Karmada and all that.
Okay. I think that will be a good proposition. I think we should discuss more.
Yes. We should. I think next meeting we should have a brainstorming session in next meeting as well. I think this is something we should definitely work on, and we can. So from active membership, I mean, who's the would that be you basically? So let's say we want to do this, initiate this project, ODF integration with Centaurus.
Right. So Deepak, what we can do is that we can discuss further, but there could be some steps like maybe Centaurus can consider to join us a Echo project in Soda.
Sure.
And then what we can do is that usually what we do is that for specific project collaboration project, we discuss with that community. Say for example, Linstore, we have an active discussion with them. So they will have a small team, maybe 2-3 members, and Soda community will have 2-3 members, and then we join together and see that how we can work together for this solution. So that's the way we generally work.
Different foundations basically.
That's
some
right.
kind of a working group. I think So in any case, Sunil, I'm going to put you on agenda, and then please come to the. This is very interesting. Actually, it'll be good for you guys, and it's good for Centaurus as well, though. So
Sure.
Okay, so I think I need to jump. We have a very management meeting at 9 o'clock, hard stop at 9 o'clock.
I think I have finished.
This is very good. Because I think, what do you guys think? Stefan and Xiaoning, what do you guys think? Yinghuan?
Yeah, very nice talk. And I think it's a good idea to integrate the Centaurus and the Zoda. Yeah.
So for me, this is a great opportunity. Definitely. Sounds really good.
So we should talk, Sunil. You need to you need to come to the next meeting. We'll brainstorm just like a general format. You don't have to do any presentation, but let's talk about the logistics and all those kind of things. Okay, good.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
I think good. Thanks for everybody. I think we pretty much done. Everybody has to. I know Mangani has to rush to the meeting as well. So thanks everybody.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Anil.
Everyone, have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.